So after only 3 days in Mexico, we got pulled over on 4 different charges. Hey guys, Conrad here. Today I just wanted to talk to you about crooked cops in Mexico. In our research before coming down, that was one of the main things that people warn about for anybody coming down to Mexico is crooked cops. Mexico is not, as you know, Mexico is not as rich as Canada and the US, and the cops apparently don't make all that much money. So they're just trying to, put bread on the table like anybody else, but they're doing it in a crooked way by trying to get bribes from tourists, basically. What they'll do is they'll stop you on a fake charge that, like, the charge might exist. They might tell you were speeding, but you weren't, and they know you weren't. And they'll say, well, you can pay 500 pesos right now, or you can follow me to the station and it'll be 1,500 pesos. So for most people, it's, well, you got the hassle of going to the station with them, which, is going to take a portion of your day depending on where it is. Or you can just pay a third of the fine right there to the cop. So it's so much easier to just pay the cop. But then they just pocket that money. So it's a bribe to them. And there's no actual ticket because they don't have one. There's no proof of anything. So it's highly encouraged to not bribe the cop. Don't take the easy way out, because the easier it is for them to make money off of basically scamming people, the more they do it. So if everybody kind of fought back, the system would eventually get cleaned up, and they would stop doing that. So after all those warnings, what happened? So we were in Ensenada. Basically, we had been in Mexico for all of 3 days, and we were looking for water for the RV. So when we moved, we would know where to go. So we didn't have the RV connected. We just had the truck and the side-by-side on the roof, driving around the back streets trying to find this water spot. Because the water in Mexico is not drinkable in most places, so they have purification stations in a bunch in every town. So you just got to try to find them if you don't know where they are. So that's what we're doing, driving around this back road, which is mostly dirt. Back roads everywhere are dirt. You got the main street is paved, but that's pretty much it. So, and they have the speed bumps. So because of that side by side on the roof, we're just going nice and slow, trying to find the spot. And we had a few cars behind us, so we pulled over on the dirt shoulder to kind of let the cars go by, just to be friendly. And the last one was a cop, so he pulls in behind us and turns on his lights. So he got us for being nice, basically. So he comes up to the window. He doesn't really speak English. We don't really speak Spanish. So he pulls out his phone and uses just a translator app, which seems to be the norm, even with cops, because they know most tourists don't speak Spanish, and they don't know any English. So it's a Google Translate kind of conversation, but it works, just a bit slow. So at first he asked for my driver's license, so gave it to him. Back home, at this point, they would go back to their cruiser, and whatever it is they do, take 30 minutes to look it over and then come back. Here, I don't know if it's because it's a foreign driver's license to them, so their system might not even have it. Maybe they don't even have a system. I really don't know. But he didn't actually do anything with my license. He just kind of kept it. So his first charge was that, or his reason to stop us, I should say, was that we were too tall for the area we were in, which with the side-by-side on the roof, we're about 12 feet 9 inches. So, it's quite tall, but still lower than a tractor trailer would be. So we said, okay, fine. What's the actual limit? And he told us, I forget exactly what it was. He told us what it was, and it's just a made up number, probably. So we were a little over, So then I asked him, okay, well, like this street fits fine. There's no low hanging wires, or there's no real reason you couldn't be regular tractor trailer height. So I asked him where the sign was that would indicate that we were over height. And then he just kind of fumbled on it and wasn't expecting the question. He said, well, the sign's at the start of the town, which really makes no sense because they're not, like, there's stores off the main street, right? The rest of the town is dirt road, but it's still a full town. So like tractor trailers have to be able to go in the back roads, which is not really, again, they're not really back roads, they're main dirt roads. So it would make no sense to have the entire city other than the main, be only tractor trailer friendly. So anyway, so then he saw that we weren't biting on the over height. So then he turned and said, well, the problem is you're a foreign American vehicle, which we're not. We're from Canada. So, but either way, there's no law in Mexico that you can't come from another country. That would make no sense. You need special paperwork for your vehicle, but that's not what he asked for. He just said we were a foreign American vehicle. So when we told him we were Canadian, the charge changed again. So this third charge now was that we were a foreign international vehicle, which again makes absolutely no sense. It's not illegal to be foreign in Mexico or any other country for that matter. So then we kind of fought on that one for a little bit, trying to figure out, Google Translate and figuring out what was going on, and and then he changed again. So the fourth charge was because we used engine brake. The diesel has engine brake. You hear the tractor trailers making noise coming down the hills. That's what he was basically trying to charge us on. Our truck has it, but we didn't have it on because we didn't have the trailer on anyway, so there's no real use for it. And we were going 5 kilometers an hour on a dirt road, so I'm not going to use engine brake anyway. So that was just a bluff. Throughout the process, and probably in order to scare us, like he does with everybody else, is he kept saying, you can pay here or you can come with me to the station. We kept saying, yeah, we'll follow you to the station, right? That's what we had been informed to do. The odd thing is the cop never gave an amount. Usually, like all the warnings we had seen online, they would say, oh, he wanted 500 pesos here, or 1,500, 2,000 pesos at the station or whatever. So it seems like a good deal to pay up front. But in our case, he never gave a number, which was really odd. But anyway, so at the end we say, yeah, well, we told him like 3-4 times, we'll just follow you to the station, and then he kept changing the charge. So in the end, so yeah, we'll follow you, just go. So he kept my driver's license, so basically had no real choice to follow him. He got back in his cruiser, got in front of us, no lights or nothing, just nice and slow going around. So we started following him. We drove 3, maybe 4 blocks. We hit a traffic light that was red, so everybody stopped. The passenger officer came out at the traffic light, got out, walked over to Monica's side, handed me my driver's license back, said, it's good for this time. So, and then he got back in the cruiser, light turned green, they left. So because we didn't budge in his bluff, even if we followed him to the station, there's no charge. He can't charge us for being foreign or using the engine brake or being too tall if it's not actually illegal. So then once he gave me my license back, we got everything put away, light turned green, he took off, it seemed like in a rush. We with the side-by-side on the roof, just nice and slow. So we take off. 500 feet down the road, he already had somebody else pulled over. So he's just trying to get money to cover his day however he could. It's just a corrupt system. We've now been in Mexico for almost 2 months. We haven't had any other issues. That was just the one time. But some people stay here for 10 years and have no issue whatsoever. Some people get stopped a couple times in a week. So I guess we've just been lucky. But still, for 4 charges on a third day, had us a little bit nervous. I mean, worst case, you just pay the fine. If you actually did something wrong, well, then you got to pay the fine, same as in the US or Canada or anywhere around the world. So we knew we didn't do anything wrong, especially on the charges that he was saying we did. So anyway, it was made up for an interesting day. And if you like this content, like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments if you ever met a corrupt cop or ever had to deal with that type of situation. Thanks, guys. See you later.